Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Bold and the Beautiful. Brooke triumphs as Taylor's altar heartbreak looms. Bold and the Beautiful sees Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig blissfully happy now that possess. Ridge Forrester Torsten K said he wants to be her husband and he put that recycled ring back on her finger. But Brooke Logan Catherine Kelly Lang is going to win in the end, seems. And it could be a wedding day dumping again for Taylor. We've got B&B spoilers about Taylor's coming heartbreak. When Brooke's dusty destiny with Ridge wins in the end. So right now, Taylor is on cloud nine because Ridge happily accepted her proposal. It was pretty wild with Nick Marone, Jack Wagner sitting there eavesdropping on their special moment. You know, Taylor wants to put their family back together and Ridge told her he's so in love with her. He said Taylor makes everything better and the engagement ring should have been on her finger all along. Nick's jaw kept dropping every time the conversation got sappier. And you know, Nick is thrilled that Ridge said yes to Taylor's proposal because that means Brooke will have to see Ridge is not the man for her. And this is great news for Nick. He may be almost as happy as the newly engaged couple. I'm surprised he hasn't sent champagne over and said Mazel Tov, you know? At the same time, Taylor and Ridge were getting engaged. Brooke was spouting sheer nonsense at her sister Katie Logan, Heather Tom, about how what Ridge and Taylor have isn't real. It is real, may not be real permanent, but it's real. And in Brooke's mind, she thinks Taylor and Ridge feel a sense of obligation to each other. That's it. And then Brooke tried to say that Ridge would never marry Taylor. And good old Katie wrote Brooke a reality check and reminded her sister that Ridge walked down the aisle with Taylor and married her a couple of times. They had 3 kids together. There is something there. It may not be destiny, but there's something there. So Katie is way more right than she realizes. And although Brooke didn't want to hear it, Katie said she does not think that Brooke's going to get her reunion with Ridge. She wants Brooke to face that Ridge is committed to Taylor. And you know, Brooke continued on with the thing about how she and Ridge are destined to be together. He wants her. He doesn't want Taylor. But even after all of Katie's trying to talk sense to her, it didn't work. And she's very certain about this. And then Brooke gets a rude awakening first from Nick and then from Ridge. So, it's going to be a real emotional face slap for Brooke when Nick says he overheard Taylor propose to Ridge and he said yes. Later, Ridge will confirm what Nick already spilled and tells Brooke that he is engaged to Taylor. They are getting married. So, Brooke's at the point where she's going to have to probably accept what Katie's saying, what Nick's saying, what Ridge himself is saying, and that they're done and she needs to move on. So, with Taylor getting this win, you know, Brooke's probably going to be a lot more receptive when Nick tries to romance her. Jack Wagner did some interviews about his comeback to Bold, and he said that Nick's going to help. Brooke realized that her dynamic with Ridge is toxic and that she could have a happily ever after with Nick instead. So, they may jump right into things. I mean, Ridge has no problem bouncing from breakup right into somebody else's bed. And you know, Ridge broke up with Brooke several months ago. So, her moving instantly on with Nick isn't as tacky of a thing like when Ridge did it. When he basically started hooking up with Taylor, even before he made the split totally official with Brooke. And it's not the first time Ridge has done Brooke that exact way. We saw that before with the whole pinecone thing. But despite saying yes to Taylor's proposal, still doesn't like seeing Brooke with Nick. The brothers just do not like each other. Ridge can't stand the guy. Says he never will. Nick's got zero respect for Ridge and especially doesn't like the way he treats Brooke. So, at the moment, Ridge seems happy. He's acting happy. He's saying he's happy. He says he's head over heels for Taylor. And at the same time, though, he's still going to be telling Brooke she should stay away from Nick. So, for a while, it will look like Ridge is going to be with Taylor and all those Brooke and Ridge, you know? The bridge shippers are going to be a little upset. Brooke is going to think about whether she's got a real future with Nick. But at the same time, Wagner was doing those U.S. interviews. Brad Beal was doing Italian interviews in magazines that only publish in Europe. He was saying that when Ridge or Eric Forrester, John McCook, Brooke and Nick go to Capri, Italy, something happens that makes Ridge realize Brooke is the woman he's meant to spend his life with. He can't live without her. And Brad Beal said that Ridge and Brooke will be together forever. Huge spoiler, but I guess he thought since he did it in Italian, it doesn't count. I don't know. So, what happens in Italy seems to be some sort of life and death event, where maybe Ridge's life flashes before his eyes, because there's a photo that somebody got while they were doing the location shoot in Italy. And it looks like Ridge is either diving into the water or falls into the water. So maybe he jumps in to save Brooke, or something happens and he falls in. But you know when Ridge is faced with his own mortality, or maybe Brooke's mortality, he starts to figure things out and realizes that what he's got is not what he wants. So Taylor's not there in Italy. But Nick is Dot, so we'll see if Ridge immediately realizes because of this watery incident that he's meant to be with Brooke, and they recommit before they come back to LA. Or maybe Ridge has this moment in Italy, and then he's back in LA, and then the epiphany comes to him, and you know he's mulling it over about what to do up until his wedding date, because Ridge said he wants to be a man of his word. So it could be that he realizes he needs to be with Brooke, but then he just can't walk away from Taylor because he gave his word not just to her, but also to Steffi, Forrester, Jacqueline McInnes Wood. So, do you remember the last time Taylor and Ridge were at a wedding altar? They almost got married. That was when Ridge had dumped Brooke because he believed that fake CPS call that Thomas Forrester, Matthew Atkinson did using the voice app. And Taylor's wedding day imploded when the truth came out. And now her upcoming wedding to Ridge, frankly, seems doomed to fall apart. Again, it was Brooke getting dumped because Ridge misunderstood something, and he doesn't ever go and ask questions. He just leaps to conclusions and then leaps into another woman's bed. So we'll see if Taylor makes it down the aisle again. And then at the last moment, Ridge can't go through with it. It'd be nice if he did the right thing, and as soon as he realized in Italy that Brooke really is his destiny, that Ridge just, decided to man up and be honest with Taylor. For me at this point, I think Ridge is terrible. I don't care who he marries. I just want him to stick with whoever it is, and I don't want to see Ridge, gray-haired on Social Security with a hip replacement still bouncing between Brooke and Taylor and running through a Viagra prescription. That's not the bold and the beautiful future I want. I just want Ridge to pick one and stick with that one. And in this case, based on Brad Bell's interviews with that Italian magazine, sure looks like Brooke gets her man and Taylor gets dumped before too long. So we'll see. And if Ridge comes sniffing back around, Brooke would obviously dump Nick like a rock, even if they are back together at that point. So it'd be nice if Ridge did the right thing and told Taylor the moment he realized that he had second thoughts. I'm sure he's going to try and rationalize breaking Taylor's heart because he's got to talk about it to Steffi. And if he uses the word destiny, she might punch her dad in the face. As for Taylor, I hope that her broken heart syndrome doesn't come back. I think she should instead try broken car syndrome and give Ridge's sports car the Carrie Underwood treatment. I'd like to see Taylor carve her name into his leather seats, take a Louisville Slugger to both of his headlights, slash a hole in all 4 tires. So maybe next time Ridge thinks before he cheats. It's an epic song. I think they should have it playing. They should spend the money, play that while she messes up his car. And if that doesn't help Taylor feel better, she could always go get her chakras realigned. We'll see. But by all appearances and spoilers that have leaked out, yeah, Brooke is going to win again and Taylor's getting dumped.